Welcome back to the Get Attention Marketing Podcast with Ryan Speltz, your host. And today we are going to talk about how to create a content plan. Content marketing is the number one fastest growing and most important piece of a marketing plan in today's marketplace. You cannot exist and have a good presence online without having content to back it up. It's a big piece in SEO. It's a big piece in keeping and getting attention. And so creating content on a continual basis is really important, but you have to have a plan for this. And so today we're going to talk about how to create that plan and what it looks like. Now, when I first started selling advertising, I pretty much left it up to the client to decide what they wanted to advertise. Most of the advertising was very much in the conformity side of things, right? It was just, hey, we're a plumber, we fix clogged toilets. No crap, pun intended. But you know, it was very simple. It was just like, hey, we offer insurance, or hey, we're a real estate agent. And it was very much in line with that, way of thinking of just tell people what you do. And today, unfortunately, that just isn't enough. You have to stand out, you have to differentiate. And there's 25 plumbers, there's 300 real estate agents. You've got to find a way to communicate what it is that you do that's unique and why they should pick you over another. And so the creativity, I craved people being more creative and having that. And so I actually wrote my first book, which is called The Marketing Playbook, because I wanted people to be more creative and I wanted them to utilize the tools that I had studied my entire life in marketing and branding and being able to understand how to portray themselves better. And it helped. And it helped our advertisers do better. And then we, as we studied, we learned about the marketing continuum. And the marketing continuum is interesting. We'll put a little graphic here up on the screen. If you're watching, if you're listening, it's just like a timeline. And at the very beginning of the timeline is conformity. These are ads that just simply state what you do. They're very basic. And there's some value in that, right? Just letting people know you exist and that you can accomplish or you can help them with whatever problem they have or sell them a product that they might be looking for. On the other end of that spectrum, of that timeline, is controversy. Okay, think of the Super Bowl where they had a name for it. What was it? Uniform Gate or Outfit Gate, where Whitney Houston, her uniform was torn down and she was mostly exposed on national television, and it was a big controversy. And it stuck in people's minds, but it actually had a negative effect too. So it's important to make sure that you're not on that end, right? Where you don't have that that far to where you're in controversy, because that had a negative effect on her brand and on the Super Bowl. A lot of people were angry about it. Some weren't, obviously. Not everybody's going to think the same way, but there were quite a few that were pretty upset about that whole thing. So conformity, we're a plumber, we fix clogged toilets. Okay, that's conformity. Controversy would probably be, swearing in your title and say, we help clean up this in your house, whatever. Make sure that you're somewhere on the edge of controversy when you're trying to get attention. Not all the way to controversy, but you could say something like, we're a plumber that comes in, we wear booties on our shoes, we wear overalls, and we can help with your plumbing. So no cracks, no tracks, and we fix your plumbing. Something like that, right? Something unique, something that's an identifier that people are like, oh yeah, I don't like when the plumber comes to my house and he's got, his crack hanging out. And so that could be a way to differentiate. There's lots of different ways to do it. You could base it on your personality. You could use humor. We have a real estate agent that they had animated figures drawn of themselves, and they're buff, and it shows, that they're there to help people get a home or get a mortgage. That's a great way to stand out, and one of our most popular ads that we've ever had. And so at the edge of controversy is where the greatest marketing experiences ever have happened. And if you look at some of those incredible marketing campaigns, one of which the Apple 1984 commercial where she comes running in with the hammer. She's not dressed like everybody else. Everybody's kind of zoned out, and she throws this sledgehammer at the screen and it shatters, and it says, "We'll show you why 1984 won't be like 1984." The Big Brother play. That's one of the most successful advertising campaigns of all time. And the best part is they didn't even show their product. They just said, come find out. It just created so much curiosity, and it was controversial. But it wasn't so controversial that it turned people off to the brand. And so that's important. Recently, one of the controversies that's been an interesting one to watch is Bud Light utilizing the transgender social media influencer to push their to promote their product. And there was a big backlash on that, and a lot of people on social media really, people who didn't agree with their choice to do that, whether you're on the side of that or not, it really caused them a lot of pain. It was past the edge of controversy, and maybe they could have handled it better and still been able to, speak to the things that they found to be important. But really, it had a big backlash on their brand in the long run. So pay attention to what you're saying. Try to avoid being so controversial that it turns people off to your brand. But at the same time, if you can put out something that becomes, a talking point, things that gain their own momentum beyond your own advertising and your efforts, that's when you have the most effectiveness in marketing. So your content marketing plan, if you listen to our emotional triggers episode, we talk about how to get the right titling and words, and how to make sure people are paying attention with the words and things that you put into your titles, whether it's the first 3 seconds of a video or the title of an article or the title of an advertisement. Focus on that. You can visit connectionmediacode.com/marketing tools to download 3 planners that we use to make our plans and to help our clients make their plans. The first is an annual theme planner. And I actually learned this from Debbie Williams. She was the owner of Timeless Medical Spa and Weight Loss Center at the time. She's since sold it, but I would go in to help her with her ads for our magazines each month. And she had taken a piece of paper and she'd listed each month. And she would say, our theme for the month for January is snowflakes, or clear skin, or something that had a tie into her business, but it was a theme that they would use across all their advertising. And then she would, in the next column, she would say, okay, here's the products that we're going to have a special on for the month. And so that's how simply she kept it. She just had a monthly annual plan that we would follow, and we would create ads around what was on sale, and we would use her theme for the month. So you can download that one for free and start utilizing that. The second one is an ads planner. This one kind of shows you the different sizes of all the different types of ads that you can place on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Now called X, but it just gives you the different sizes so that you can easily figure that out. And it also gives you kind of an outline of how to think about it. Starting with the title, the most important, you have 3 seconds to grab people's attention. So starting with that title and making sure that that is going to generate enough emotion to get people to go further into the ad, right? To pay attention to it, to watch the video. There's a lot of ways to do that, but you got to start with that first 3 seconds. If you don't grab their attention, you're not going to get the attention you want. And then you can talk about your target audience and all of those things. Those are important as well, which we cover in other episodes. But the one that we use the most often is the third planner, which is actually our organic social media planner. And in that planner, we actually go through and talk about the 12 different types of social media posts that you can put up and on your social media. A lot of people will do promotional posts for every single post. And the problem with using promotional posts constantly is that people get tired of it. They don't want to just hear about your sales all the time. Only your most engaged and easiest, best customers are going to want to hear all of your specials all the time. So you should use your social media platform to educate, as well as entertain, as well as create curiosity, and not just always be selling. Now, the statement in my sales training for many years was always be closing. I don't agree with that anymore. In today's marketplace, that turns people off. But I do think you should always have sales in mind. And so when you're explaining things, always have the opportunity to say, hey, we can help you with this. For example, we just started offering organic social media management for companies, where we've been requested to do this for so long because we have all these great content creators, writers, and videographers on our team, and people are like, you guys should do social media and help us manage our social media page. And so we've started doing that. Well, in a month, if we're going to post 30 times in a month, probably 2 to 3 of those are going to be actual discounts / coupons / offers. The rest of it are going to fall into one of the other 12 post types. And so here's the 12 post types. One is a promotional post, of course. The second is an educational post, teaching about something that you know, or about your industry, or about a product, or maybe about a competitor's product. Talking about, I talked to someone who did skincare, and they were talking about suntan lotion or sunblock, and she was like, most of the sunblocks that you get at the store have these problems, and ours are free of those problems. I don't know the details, I don't know the chemicals she was talking about, but it's something that she could do an educational post on. An engagement post where you try to get answers, you ask a question that maybe generates some interest from some of your viewers or readers, and they could respond back and say, yeah, I've had a problem with that, or that's a concern that I've had. Have you ever had cracked skin in the winter, or dryness, or some certain things if you're in the skin business? So user generated content. This is a great place to use reviews, and if you can get people to make videos about you and talk about you and how great you are, that's awesome as well. You can do behind the scenes. That's our 5th type of post, behind the scenes. 6th is, company news, something about your company, something's happening. Anytime you have a birthday, this is our first birthday, our 2nd birthday, our 10th birthday. We've been in business for 100 years. Those are great company news things that you can post about. You can even make it more personal, like some of the members of your team having a birthday or getting married. Promoting those fun things, those company news things are great. And then you also have industry news. When there's breakthroughs in your industry, or there's new products that have come out, or new exciting announcements that have been made, you can use that, even if it's something that's maybe concerning. So in our industry in marketing, this year, Google has had 2 core system updates to their search algorithms that have made it more challenging and different to qualify for SEO, to get optimized and to get noticed on the search campaigns. And those have affected some people very significantly. And so it's important to know that's something we could do an announcement on and say, have you prepared for this shift or this change? That's an industry news piece. The next post is what we call either motivation or inspiration or humor. It's one of those kind of posts that maybe ties into your industry, but it really is just kind of an interesting piece of information that you could use. Okay. The 9th type is sharing a success, sharing a win, sharing something cool that's happened. 10th is a special occasion, if you have an event coming up or you're doing some customer appreciation, anything like that. And then 11th is a live stream, something where you're communicating with your people and talking to them. And then the 12th or final type of post would be some sort of an infographic where you teach maybe using some graphics, and you could post that. Using video is very important, but it does not have to be every post. In fact, sometimes it's better to have something that is not video oriented, so that you can have a mix up. So if you like doing video, that's great. And if you're not as comfortable doing video, that's okay too. So anyway, those are the types of posts. Those planners, again, you can get them for free. Go to connectionmediaco.com/marketing tools, and you will find those tools under that tab. And they're just the social media planners is what we call them, but they're really content planners, because you can plan out your content, make a plan, and then stick to it. One of the best things that happened to us when we first started our publications was we started, we had to have deadlines. And so those deadlines, because we had to be to the printer at a certain amount, by a certain time, so that they had time to print the product, and then they had time to stitch and trim the product, and then there was enough time for the post office to get them from the post office to people's homes. all so that we could land at the right time, and advertisements were relevant, and the calendar events had the relevant dates and times and things on it as well. And so as you as you make your plan, one of the best things that you can do is to simply make sure that you have a deadline and stick to it. So maybe like my blog posts, I write a blog post every week. I know my deadline, I have to get it done on Friday. The reason I have to get it done on Friday, I can push it to Saturday if I need to, but it's nice to have a Saturday off. And so if I write it every Friday, on Monday, and I get it to my proofreader will read it on Monday and get it all dialed in and perfected, and then we can post it Monday afternoon or evening or early Tuesday, and then Tuesday we send out our newsletter. And so in that newsletter is my blog post every week. It's the highlighted piece. We also talk about our company products, some of our promotions, things like that, but we have something every single week that comes out. I had to set that deadline for myself and force myself to get in the habit of writing those blog posts every week. Whatever it is you do, you may not be good at writing, that may not be your thing, but for me, I love writing. That's my thing. That's my deadline. I make sure that every single week I have my blog post ready so that it goes to the proofreader, so then it goes to my assistant, who then takes it and puts it on the blog, and then we put it out on social media and talk about it and promote it, and it helps get more attention. So speaking of the newsletter, if you would like to receive our monthly newsletter, when you go to connectionmediaco.com, you can click on marketing blog, and at the bottom you can select you can subscribe, or even on the homepage of our website you can subscribe and get our weekly newsletter. They're very simple, and I believe in systemizing things so you know exactly what's happening. But always in our newsletters, we start with my blog post. We have a product promotional item, and maybe make an announcement if there's something new that's happened, if we have a cool article that came out in one of our publications, or if we're doing a cool event, anything like that. That's those three simple things in our newsletter every week that go out. We try to bring a lot of value and not have it be super salesy, where we're always just trying to get everybody to do something with us, but we want everybody to pay attention to us, and when they're ready to market, then come to us. So anyway, you can sign up at connectionmediaco.com if you'd like to receive our newsletter. We also put these videos in when it's appropriate. So thanks for listening today. Hopefully you got some value out of that. Make sure you sit down and make a plan. You can use the same calendar for making a podcast plan. You can make the same, use the same calendar if you're going to do a blog. I keep a note on my phone that is titled, I'll show you here. It's on my notes app, and it's called Blog Topics That Make People Want to Read. And so I remind myself at the top, and then anytime I have ideas on what to write about, I come in here and I drop those ideas in so that I can go back to them and write them. Because sometimes the inspiration hits when you're out doing business or working with someone or talking to a friend, and something comes to your mind and you're like, oh, that would be really cool to promote our product or to promote our company. And so you can utilize that. Brainstorm, sit down and make a list, get an escape, or go, get a retreat. Have someone who's a good brainstormer come with you, get away from it all, turn off the cell phone, don't take emails, and just make a plan for what you're going to do for your content. We have a monthly planning meeting with all of our creatives for our publications to come up with great articles and ideas. We have a weekly planning meeting for whattoeatfordinner.com, where we come up with what we're going to do that month to promote and to put out new recipes, what recipes we want to focus on. There's always something you can be talking about and planning. Give yourself deadlines and make things happen. That's the best way to create content, and that content can be a powerful marketing tool for you if you use it properly. Thanks for listening to the Get Attention Marketing Podcast with Ryan Speltz, and we're glad you're here. We're glad you came, and follow along for more.